Welcome to our Logos meditation on Wednesday, June 10th. Our topic today is Welcome Strangers. This is an opportunity to start preparing and living the Word that we will explore this Sunday during our Beyond the Wall service with none other than our friend Becky Savage. So that's going to be this Sunday, June 14th at noon Eastern Time. And today we are going to consider the same passage of Scripture that Becky will explore with a sermon. We will do it today through a meditative practice of mindfulness and Lectio Divina. It is very important when we do that to just let go of any previous understandings or just assumptions that you may immediately make when you hear this passage. This is a famous passage of Genesis, the book of Genesis, where Sarah and Abraham are visited by three mysterious men, which end up being a divine visit. And of course, this is something that you have heard, that you have read, but today we try to let go of everything that we already have here. So empty the cup of your mind, empty the cup of any knowledge that you may have previously acquired, and just dive into the Word. Allow the Word to flow through mind and body. What we will do today, we will read that passage of Scripture once. We will do an exercise of mindfulness, and then we will read it again at the end of this meditation with hopefully a different perspective that we will be able to acquire through the practice of mindfulness. Before we continue, I just want to make sure that I welcome those of you who are joining us live in this virtual meditation circle. I see some of you already on Facebook, some of you on YouTube who are joining us today. So please help us draw the circle wide and go ahead and share this video or click like. That might invite more friends into this virtual meditative circle today who might need it, who might need to take a pause on this day and start considering this Scripture and what it means to us today in these difficult times. Now, I'm going to invite you to just check your posture, and I'll do the same. And I'll just make sure that we get a good base for our meditation. So just make sure you're sitting comfortably, but that at the same time your posture gives you a sense of readiness, of preparedness, so that you prepare not only with your mind but also with your body to receive the Word today. So allow the spine to be as upright as possible. Allow your hands to comfortably rest. Relax the shoulders. Notice the jaw. This is a part of the body where it's very easy for us to hold tension. So ideally you want to have your lips very gently sealed, and you want to allow the breath to flow in and out very quietly and gently, only through the nostrils. Making sure that the facial muscles remain very relaxed, very soft. You might hear some background noises because I have my window open here. It's quite warm in Toronto today, and but in addition to being quite warm, I thought it would be, for today's meditation, very interesting to have these unwelcomed noises that may happen from now and then. So if you've noticed those already, just acknowledge them and welcome them into your meditation in the same way that you will welcome any noises, welcomed or unwelcomed, that you might hear at your location. If your breath feels a little difficult, if it feels like a workout, then just relax. Help with your mouth if needed. It's very important that you find your tongue inside your mouth and you let it relax. So relaxing the tongue, almost as if you were trying to swallow the tongue, will allow you to relax the belly. And if you relax the belly, all those abdominal muscles, you might be able to gradually start allowing the breath to reach deeper and deeper. It's not going to happen all at once. It might take some time. So deep breath is what we want for our practice of meditation. But it's often involuntary. It's not something that you choose to do. So gradually, as you continue to pay attention to your own body, the bodily reactions, and whenever you become aware of any tension and discomfort, mild pain, you're going to let go of all that tension, relax those parts of the body that you become aware of, and gradually the breath will become deeper, slower, but it will continue to be very natural. Your body's natural breathing cycle. And you want to simply become acquainted with this most fundamental of all physical sensations, your breath. So when you hear the sound of the bell, adopt the intention. Determine yourself to return to the awareness of these gentle physical sensations each time the mind wanders off, goes somewhere else. Do it very gently. There's neither wrong nor right with meditation. So always return to the awareness of your breath with a sense of acceptance, self-compassion, curiosity for what is happening right here and right now. There's no need to be harsh to yourself or to be frustrated. So one breath at a time. Even if it feels like you're starting over again with each breath, that might be your meditation today. Continue following your breath. And as you continue to become acquainted with your breath, start inviting the Spirit into mind and body with each breath. However you understand the Spirit, whatever it means to you, this is not a time to acquire new knowledge. Just let the Spirit enter mind, even the deepest corners of the mind, of the unconscious mind. Bring in light. Allow the Spirit to enter every cell of the body, from head to toe. Bring in life, energy, renewal, and healing, one breath at a time. And welcome also the Word. Allow the Spirit, like a wind, to carry the Word. Allow the Word to live today. Allow the Word to speak to you today, to the reality of your life today. To what brings you joy, as well as what brings you sorrow today. Let the Word speak to you. In this first reading, immerse yourself in this very rich story that comes from Genesis 18. Notice what happens to each one of the characters. Notice any descriptions of interactions, of the things that they do, how they react, how they talk to each other. No sentence, no word is more important than any other. Each word is the Word. So pay attention to even what might seem at first unimportant, confusing. Don't struggle. There's no need to understand every little detail. Just allow the Word to enter and live. The Lord appeared to Abraham as he sat at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day. He looked up and saw 3 men standing near him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent entrance to meet them and bowed down to the ground. He said, "My Lord, if I find favor with you, do not pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourself under the tree. Let me bring a little bread, that you may refresh yourselves, and after that you may pass on, since you have come to your servant." So they said, "Do as you have said." And Abraham hastened into the tent to Sarah and said, "Make ready quickly 3 measures of choice flour, knead it, and make cakes." Abraham ran to the herd and took a calf, tender and good, and gave it to the servant, who hastened to prepare it. Then he took curds and milk and the calf that he had prepared, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree while they ate. They said to them, "Where is your wife Sarah?" And he said, "There, in the tent." Then one said, "I will surely return to you in due season, and your wife Sarah shall have a son." And Sarah was listening at the tent entrance behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in age. It had ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, "After I have grown old, and my husband is old, shall I have pleasure?" The Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Shall I indeed bear a child, now that I am old?' Is anything too wonderful for the Lord? At the set time I will return to you in due season, and Sarah shall have a son." But Sarah denied, saying, "I did not laugh," for she was afraid. He said, "Oh yes, you did laugh." Now, very gently, return your attention to your breath. Continue to become acquainted with this most fundamental of all physical sensations. Just your breath flowing in, flowing out. Don't struggle. If you can't follow it, simply try to rest your attention, rest your consciousness over the one part of your body where you might feel the breath most vividly. The tip of your nostrils as you breathe in, the sensation of the air sinking into the throat, perhaps your rib cage expanding. You might feel it on your skin, rubbing against your clothes. Perhaps you might be able to feel the belly rising and falling. You might hear it, in fact. You might hear the warmth of your exhalation flowing out your nostrils, of your mouth. Allowing the breath to flow freely without controlling it, without holding it at any time. Continue to allow the breath to bring light to your life today, renewing and healing mind and body one breath at a time. Don't struggle. Feel it. Welcome it. Become one with your breath. Become one in the Spirit. Let us consider a few elements of this story. Consider these unexpected visitors, these strangers. Consider how Abraham, and in fact the whole household, struggled, hastened to serve them, to host, to feed this group of strangers, unexpected strangers. Consider what you would do if that happened to you today. What would you do? How would you react if 3 or more strangers showed up unexpectedly in your living room, in your kitchen, in your backyard? What would your immediate reaction be? Your first reaction? How would that make you feel? People you don't know showing up unexpectedly in the middle of your everyday life, with all the things that keep you busy during the day, with the to-do list, with work, domestic obligations. Strangers today who might carry an undesired disease that you don't want. This is a time to allow yourself to be honest to yourself. You don't have to tell anyone else about this. So envision this scene happening in your home. How would you react if these strangers looked like someone that looks like you? If they spoke in the same language, in the same fashion that you speak. If they were your same age, your same gender, your same religion, ethnic background, national background, social class. Now envision these strangers looking totally different. Not like you in any way. Imagine all the different ways in which they might be different. The color of their skin, the clothes they wear, their age, gender, the language they speak, the words they use. Now, how would you react? How would you feel? What would be your first reaction? How does this make you feel, even envisioning this scene? in the midst of your home. Acknowledge any emotions that may arise, any thoughts that might cross through the sky of the mind with curiosity, with openness, with acceptance. This is not a time to be judgmental of yourself. This is not a time to guilt yourself, punish yourself. This is a time to awaken to something that is already in you. So let it arise, let it surface. If your goal is to be judgmental, then it will not surface. You will continue to keep it under the surface to protect yourself. So in this safe, sacred space, allow yourself to look and be descriptive, non-judgmental. Now, that doesn't mean that there's nothing to change, or that your reaction or your feelings might be something you need to work on. But in this moment, we're becoming acquainted with this, our automated reaction to our experience of strangers showing up, strangers that look very different from us, strangers who we perceive to be very different from us. Yet, these unexpected visitors are bearers of good news. They bring good news of healing, of prosperity, to progeny and descendants, even to this old, barren couple. A very unlikely promise that is later fulfilled. As we read the text for a second and last time, just allow yourself to be Abraham and Sarah. Allow these strangers that show up at their tent to be strangers that show up at your house. Strangers who look very different, who you did not expect, who invited themselves to dinner, and you serve them your best, and they bring good news. Even over things, over problems and challenges that you have already considered hopeless, beyond reach, beyond repair. The Lord appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre, as he sat at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day. He looked up and saw 3 men standing near him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent entrance to meet them and bowed down to the ground. He said, "My lord, if I find favor with you, do not pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. Let me bring a little bread, that you may refresh yourselves, and after that you may pass on, since you have come to your servant." So they say, "Do as you have said." And Abraham hastened into the tent to Sarah and said, "Make ready quickly 3 measures of choice flour, knead it, and make cakes." Abraham ran to the herd and took a calf, tender and good, and gave it to the servant who hastened to prepare it. Then he took curds and milk and the calf that he had prepared and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree while they ate. They said to him, "Where is your wife Sarah?" And he said, "There, in the tent." Then one said, "I will surely return to you in due season, and your wife Sarah shall have a son." And Sarah was listening at the tent entrance behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in age. It has ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, "After I have grown old and my husband is old, shall I have pleasure?" The Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old?' Is anything too wonderful for the Lord?" At the set time, I will return to you in due season, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied, saying, "I did not laugh," for she was afraid. He said, "Oh yes, you did laugh." In the last few minutes of this meditation, just remain quiet, remain still, remain at rest, and welcome any distractions to this ideal moment of perfect meditation as the 3 visitors of today's scripture. Welcome any thought, any physical sensations, any noise, any feelings and emotions, as these unexpected guests who are bringing great news for today. Yes, even if you did laugh about it. Thank you for coming together today as this virtual meditation circle. I want to acknowledge the presence of those of you who have chosen to come together today as this virtual meditation circle, helping each other's practice in these difficult times where we cannot meet in person, but nevertheless, I want to thank you for being here today. You are helping other people today simply by participating in this live meditation circle. Please let me know your thoughts about the scripture, about the experience that you had today, and a reminder that we will continue to explore this same passage of scripture this Sunday at at noon Eastern Time with Becky Savage during our Beyond the Wall service. So I see you then, and until then, please be safe, healthy, and go in peace now.